Good afternoon, good evening, East Tennessee. We have some flash flooding concerns across East Tennessee, as you can see from those little red or burgundy boxes. We like to call them polygons. Geek speak for the fact that we got an issue in some spots, but not everywhere. I know the natural inclination is, what about my town? If your town doesn't have standing water, then you probably have no concern. But those who are in those little boxes are of great concern, specifically parts of Anderson-Morgan County until 7:45 this evening. So if you're on the call, love to know what you're seeing. If you're in these areas, they estimate up to 3 inches of rain has fallen in a short period of time this evening. If you say, I didn't get 3 inches of rain, some of your neighbors did. Some of your neighbors did, and that's what's concerning, I think, all of us who have family or friends there. Maybe you're dealing with rising water. I would urge you to seek higher ground immediately. We call it turn around, don't drown. It's a convenient expression, but it's very important to save lives. It's important to flooding safety. I'm going to zoom in here so you can take a look, but as I'm looking at both Facebook and YouTube, I'm live on all these platforms. I want you to be prepared that if you are getting more rain in these areas, it's only going to make matters worse, and flooding is not to be messed with. It's not to be taken lightly. So we want you to be prepared that this flooding will be ongoing until at least 7:45 in that area, in parts of right where Morgan and Anderson County come together. That's what we're watching very closely. If you've got a comment, let me know. I see a few on here that might be popping on here, and if you do, let me know what you're seeing in these areas. That's what I'm most interested in. Morgan County, if you're in, say, Anderson County, around Oliver Springs, love to know what you're seeing at this time. I'm also taking note as the comments might be coming in on different pages. I'll toggle back and forth, as this is obviously going to be an ongoing situation. But just to give you an idea, let's zoom in, and you can also note there's also a flash flood warning that expires at 7:30 for Roane County. I don't want to leave Roane County out, but that's been in effect a little bit longer and will be expiring 15 minutes sooner. It also affects Ray County till 7:30. Let's start off with the one in Anderson County, just north of Oak Ridge. This is the area that's of concern. It includes Windrock, it includes Petros, and you might say, well, it's not as heavy now north of Frost. It's maybe tapered off, but the runoff is going to continue to be an issue. Notice the National Weather Service has a flash flood warning in this box. We're talking Windrock, we're talking just north of Oliver Springs, Fork Mountain, until 7:45. The Doppler indicated radar thunderstorms producing heavy rain up to 3 inches have already fallen. That is already, not coming, already. And an additional 1.5 are possible in this warned red area. Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly. Please seek higher ground. So flash flooding of small creeks. If you live near a stream, if you live near a highway or an urban area, underpasses, just poor drainage areas, you're going to have some issues perhaps here in the next few minutes. And if we did just a little general check of the accumulated amounts just in the last 6 hours, wow! You mean that's how much rain's fallen? Yeah. Well, right over Windrock, right? If anyone is in this area, this could be life-threatening in some cases if you're not paying attention. Like, I didn't know that was in the forecast. It was. We had an 80% chance of rain today. While some people think that weather people either lie or tell the truth, we're just talking about probabilities. These are forecasts. And when you're talking about this kind of rain, you're talking over 4 inches. 4 inches of rain. I didn't get 4 inches of rain. Some of your neighbors did. About 1 1/3 inches around Petros and Fork Mountain, maybe almost 2 inches. Frost, maybe just about 1.7. This is why it's a concern. Now, it may not be that bad if you're in Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge has had barely any rain. So what are you talking about? What's all the fuss about? Locally heavy, very dangerous. So if you're in that 3 to 4 inch range, we have obviously some big concerns. Let's zoom back over here. We'll turn this off a second and toggle back to the other hot spot. My goodness, it looks even worse around Glen, Alice, and Eagle Furnace. This is true. This is Roane County, lasts till 7:30. Doppler estimates in just the last 6 hours closing in on 6 inches of rain. Wow. I didn't realize it was that bad. It's bad. They've had a lot of rain. And you might say, well, what about my town? Everybody could say that. But let's focus on where it has been a problem and where it's going to continue to be a problem. It's these areas. That's why I'm focused, and that's why I'm live streaming on both YouTube and Facebook right now, because flooding is not to be minced with. It's not to be taken lightly. This is including northeastern Ray County, according to our friends at the National Weather Service in Morristown. It includes west central Roane County, till 7:30. It is here that they believed up to 2 inches of rain had fallen and another 1.5. So do the math. They were expecting 3.5. Doppler estimates here are 4 and 5 inches plus. And that's why I'm a bit concerned. Wouldn't you be concerned if you lived in this area? Absolutely. You should be if you're in this area. But if you take a look, it doesn't take a whole lot of rain to cause issues. 6 inches of moving, rushing water can sweep you off your feet. 12 inches of water can carry a car or SUV off your feet, and 18 inches can carry a large vehicle away. That's why we always make that point, turn around, don't drown. It's that critical point. This is the point. This is the pivotal point. Do I go straight and move around the barrier because I know this neighborhood like the back of my hand? I grew up here, born, raised here. You might be thinking that. If that's the case, if you were born here, raised here, you start on that mindset, this doesn't happen to anybody. You're entitled to drive down this street. Yes, you can, but you do it at your own peril. And if you're in that 4, 5, 6, 7 inch range amount, best thing to do is just turn the car around. It's not worth it because you don't know if there's a sinkhole developing underneath that water. You just don't. And if you get stuck, then somebody has to come rescue you, and that would probably be a first responder. Then you're putting him or her in danger to save you. Not worth it. If you're not aware of what the difference is of a watch and a warning in terms of flooding, it's on your screen. It's being prepared, which we don't have a flash flood watch. We have the imminent flash flood warning, which means you got to take action. It's just so very important to do so. In terms of temperature, it's been warm today. We made it into the upper 70s. I believe we hit 79, but look at the rain-cooled air of Rockwood and Oak Ridge. They're in the 60s now, while Newport basking in the low 80s. That's a big difference, and it's very, very sticky. I can tell you this, if we take a look at the big picture, we track the radar from this vantage point. One thing you'll see over here, I think we'll move this into the radar in cloud like a composite. You can see it's just kind of been billowing in some parts, not everywhere. I don't want to present this as an everywhere situation, but boy, where it rains, it does pour. Kathy Self says, East Morristown here. Glad that you're representing, Kathy. Steve Daly says, by the 27-61 split, we got some other notes here. And I am also waving to you as I'm on camera, but I'm also in night mode because it's an evening on a Saturday, and I was making plans for dinner, making supper plans, but this was more pressing. I wanted to make sure you were aware of what's going on this evening. I got some other notes just east of Harriman, 2.5 inches. Steve Daly, thank you, sir, because I know there are people that are reading these comments that find that information quite useful, as he has pointed that out. I'm also on YouTube. If you're on here, let me know. I will check this frequently this evening. I want to know what you're seeing on this Saturday evening, if you're getting torrential rain where you are. And if not, then we can skip ahead and say, move along, nothing to see here. But if I did that, we'd have a bigger issue. Needed 97, a very nice day. So many of you are having a pleasant day. While others of you might be scratching your head. I thought it was supposed to rain today. I thought it was supposed to. Yep, it's raining, but not everywhere, right? That's the nature of the beast. That's the nature of Mother Nature. This heavy rain that you're looking at, if you're just joining me, is centered around Rome County and Ray County. That lasts till 7:30. Last I checked, it's only 5:40 in the afternoon and evening. Wow, that's a lot of rain. But if we expand the view, which we can easily do, you can see it has not been everywhere. It's pretty easy to discern where the problem spots have been. It's been in these little red boxes. Maybe there should have been an expansion of that red box just north of Spring City. I'm looking over here. What town were we looking at? Around, say, Balta or just south of Alloway. There's some very heavy rain that's fallen there too. But if you look at Oakdale, if you look at other towns like Dearmont, they've had some rain, but it hasn't been of that consequence, right? It hasn't been as big of an issue as it has been maybe centered around Windrock and maybe just north of Oliver Springs. Oakdale, Dearmont, maybe 3/4 to 1.25 inches. That seems to be the trend. But again, this is where the rain is right now. And I just wanted to cut to the chase on this live stream, let you know that we have some locally heavy rain and things will improve over time. But this just didn't happen over the last 10 minutes. This has been going on since they issued this flash flood warning for Ray and Rome counties at 3:21. That was like more than 2 hours ago, and they're still getting rain in those boxes. So the additional rainfall is adding insult to injury. Let's go back 4 hours. Let's see how far back we can go. So back 4 hours ago, when a lot of folks were thinking it's early afternoon, I thought it was supposed to rain today. Watch what's happened in just the last 4 hours. Just pick out your favorite town. Just start blowing up, right? You can see as I take maybe the sweep off, that would be a little less distracting. You can see over the last 4 hours, it really began to develop in Anderson County, but especially southwest of Harriman in the Rome County area, and now it's just been dancing in place. So that's the issue that we are working through. Jeff Atkins says it's been thundering in Bean Station. I would imagine so, because it is drifting very slowly to the east, Jeff. Thanks for that update. Carolyn Reed says storms and downpours in Sneedville. We're talking Hancock County. I'm so glad Carolyn Reed is here. Thank you. I love the fact that you're representing Hancock County today. And now it looks like you got flash flood, actually a flood advisory in green in Lee County, Virginia, just across the state line, if I'm not mistaken, popping up here just in the last few minutes. That runs till 8:45. That's Lee County, Virginia. So we'll stop this clock here. So we have a little flooding concerns up there. But this is usually the precursor, the flood advisory, before a warning, flash flood warning, is issued. So that was what was initially issued in Morgan's Anderson County was a flood advisory. But then it got a little bit worse. Things got a little more chaotic, let's say, and the flooding kept coming. And that's when they upgraded it to a flash flood warning specifically at the time of 4:52. So the flash flood warning, that's Anderson and Morgan County, started at 4:52. That's when the issue, and if you have the Captain Accurate Weather app, you get it at 4:52. You don't have to wait for me to jump on a live stream to tell you. If you're just hearing about this for the first time through social media, please, for your own safety, please download my free Captain Accurate Weather app and I would say too, and the NOAA Weather Radio. Because when the wind damage is an issue, which is not tonight, but on other nights it could, cell phone towers could be compromised, and so they might not get the information if the apps are not working. So having a NOAA Weather Radio is a great backup and a great adjunct to having notifications. Some people like to go to Twitter, formerly X, formerly Twitter, to National Weather Service, get the updates there too. Having multiple sources of information is key, and hopefully will keep you safe, you and your family. Anyway, just thank you for your note here. I'm also checking back on YouTube. If you've got a comment, let me know. I mentioned we had Needed97. He's actually on, looks like on the YouTube, talking about, hey, he's having a good day, and many of you probably are having a good day. Maybe some light rain showers right now around Knoxville, around Karns. It's not flash flood worthy in Karns, but it's raining there all the same. And I got some interesting stats for you as it's now beginning to fill up around the airport. Last I checked, there's the airport. This is key if you're a record keeper. See the airport getting some rain? How about this? Who's told you this? I don't know if anybody's told you this today, but so far the airport picked up 1/10 of an inch today. And why is that important? Well, we well exceeded 5 inches of rain since last night. We're now at 5.14. The average, or normal, over the last 30 years is in green. That's 4.13. Trouble is, it's only the 18th of May. We still got like a little less than 2 weeks still to play in the month of May. And if you're over an inch already above normal, and you still got 2 weeks left, or thereabouts, that could be like interesting or noteworthy, because we're now we're in the top 30. If the month were to end today, we would be in the top 30 wettest Mays on record, going back to 1871 when Ulysses S. Grant was president. Now, if you don't have, like I don't have any recollection of U.S. President Ulysses S. Grant, that's a long time ago. And the fact that we're in the top 30, going way back then, that's kind of concerning, because it wouldn't take but a couple of inches. Do we get 2 inches of rain over the next 2 weeks? That's about an inch a week. We could easily be in the top 10, which is where I'm expecting to be. And my premium members understand that well because I post it on a regular basis. They're very, very well aware of the rainfall and the fact that we could move up a couple of more spots tonight. 1/10 of an inch here, a 1/4 inch there can easily move us up anywhere from 3, 4, 5, 7 spots. And I mean moving up the ladder to maybe closer to the top 20. But we still have some time, obviously, to go. Wind speeds aren't moving much. This is not a wind event tonight, but it is sticky. Has anyone noticed it is sticky? We got a dew point Morristown of 70. That's swampy-like. 66, McGee Tyson dew point. It's a bad hair night. Oh, how much hairspray can you put in there? That's a lot of product, Aldrich. Yeah, you might need a lot to get you through. That's one aspect. But also, temperatures across the state clearly vary from maybe 79 there in Nashville. It's not that varied. 75 in Knoxville. But we mentioned in Oak Ridge and Rockwood, they're in the 60s. They are rain cool there for sure. And later tonight, if you're not dealing with the heavy rain, take note the visibility may drop simply because of patches of fog. I do want to share this with you. You may wake up tomorrow morning if you're getting up early for church services. Fog in the foothills and Smokies might be more pronounced, and certainly where it's been raining hard might also be some added areas of concern with fog tomorrow. But that's where the future visibility would take us. Tonight I am expecting lows around 61. Some may be in the upper 50s like Kingston, Rockwood, Oak Ridge, and Crossville. But Monday, actually not Monday, that's Sunday. I've lost track of time. Sunday should be in the low 80s. And with a 30% chance of rain tomorrow, I think most of it will be in the foothills and Smokies. So if you're south and east of Knox County, you have a better chance of rain tomorrow. Probably not going to rain for you at all, not at all tomorrow, if you're in Jamestown or Crossville or Wartburg. It should stay well east of I-75. That's my expectation. Let's get back. I didn't mention, but I should. We mentioned the rain there at McGee-Tyson. I should mention my sponsor, Marco's Pizza, because you know it's a Saturday night. You might not want to cook. You might think, you know what, this would be a good night to order Marco's, because I know that they give back quite a bit to the community. Among many other things, they're a part of the No Kid Hungry program. They also do quite a few things for kiddos, children, and feeding them as well. But Hardin Valley, Farragut, Maryville, Fountain City Halls, these are the locations that are now open under new leadership, better than ever. They're in Oak Ridge, they're in Middlebrook Pike, and Ebenezer, so check them out if you are hungry for something like a pepperoni magnifico. Oh, they're so good. The pepperoni is so good. And if you maybe like something like a lunch idea for tomorrow, the next day, maybe a Pizzoli, I think they're better than a calzone. I just had the pepperoni and sausage yesterday, or was the day before now, I've lost track of that. But I had the pepperoni sausage, and it's very, very filling. But I will tell you that. Marcos.com, check it out. By the way, go back to the radar. For the reason I'm here isn't because of the rain in McGee-Tyson. It has to do with the flooding that's going on in parts of our viewing area. This runs till 7:30 for Roane and Ray County, runs until 7:45 for Morgan and Anderson County. You'll notice there are no severe thunderstorm warnings at this time, except, I misspoke. I got to go outside my viewing area. I got to go to the Tri-Cities. They have a severe thunderstorm warning, and that's just south of Rogersville, just northeast of Bulls Gap. We're talking Grigsby, Beech Grove, under a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30. So they are truly not technically in the Knoxville market. That would be more classified as the Tri-Cities, but for those of you that might have a carryover, crossover interest, that is where we have a severe thunderstorm warning. Let me give you the specifics on that. That is just now coming in at 5:45. That was just about 5 minutes ago. And they have a severe thunderstorm warning for south central Hawkins and northern Greene County till 6:30. This was, in fact, a severe thunderstorm that was located near Rogersville. I would probably say it's more south of Rogersville, but okay. And it's moving southeast at 5 miles per hour. So this one has potential to produce some hail. That might be part of the offering here. Yep, well, I'd say there's quite a bit of hail there. Maybe we're getting possible, probably more than possible, of size of George Washington quarters. And when we talk about hail, it's always helpful, I say, to understand hail sizes. They don't usually pull the trigger for hail unless it's severe, and it usually has to be greater than 1 inch in diameter. So if it's the size of a quarter, that's one thing. If it's an inch and a half, suddenly it's the size of a ping pong ball. And if it's the size of a 1.75, then you're in the golf ball size territory. But they will not, the Weather Service, will not necessarily get too alarmed about a pea size or nickel size. They'll issue a special weather statement commonly. That happens all the time. But for it to reach severe limits, it usually has to be a quarter or greater. So just throwing that out there as we were looking at this severe thunderstorm on Grigsby in parts of Greene County and Hawkins County, running until 6:30. I just wanted to share that with you. And it's drifting to the southeast at 5 miles per hour. So it's not moving all that fast. If we did a 5-mile-an-hour track from this system here, let's see, let's just put a little loop on it for the last 15 minutes. See how quickly did this thing develop? And it's just kind of dancing in place, right? You can see that pretty clearly here. It hasn't moved all that much in the last few minutes, so that's why the expectation is it'll be 5 miles down the road in about an hour. It's not moving all that fast. But if we were just do a little track here, we did to see a little track, if we can grab this, just 5 miles out, you're not moving very far. You're going to basically be dancing in place, right? Might include some other towns like Kennytown, Craft Spring, Holland Mill, and Roaring Springs by 6:50 if it's moving in that direction. That's more east than southeast, but that gives you at least a sense of where it's affecting and who's it affecting at this particular time. Let me check back with your comments. Kathy says definitely swampy here in Morristown. I would agree. The dew points are running in the mid to upper 60s in many cases. Michael Loy says no one lives at the airport though, and ours isn't even in Knoxville. That's true. I can't argue with that, sir. But one thing that is nice about the airport, and beyond that, is the fact they've kept records there. Probably better records than you and I have kept. I know there are some true weather aficionados. I got one who's a premium member in Morgan County who keeps great records, but they don't always match, keeping a high and low. That's a full-time job. keeping a record of all the rain gauges every day of the year for years on years and years on end. It's nice to have the airport records. I will brag that we have a great standing record from McGhee-Tyson Airport and, of course, the Weather Service, who keeps track of it all. It's nice to have that as a reference point. But as we mentioned, flash flood warning till 7:45 for Morgan County. That also includes Anderson. We talked about the towns that are affected. If you're just joining me, Windrock seems to be probably one of the hardest hit areas. And you can't see that from this image, but if we did an accumulated amount over the last 6 hours, you say, yeah, now I see. That looks pretty high. And based on the legend, it would suggest anything yellow is more than 2. And I would say in where it's almost orange, it's closing in on 4. 3.2, 2.9, and maybe around Windrock, maybe south of Windrock, 2, and there's 3.6. So there's been a lot of rain in these areas, maybe not as much in Petros or Stevens or Frost, but there's a lot of rain all the same. Just want to make sure you're aware of it. And also, if you're traveling in these areas, you don't want to mess with the standing water. The other issue, the one that started all this, was our friends here in Roane and Ray County. That runs till 7:30. Last I checked, it's only 5:47, and no, I will not be on here this long, but I wanted you at least to have this on your phone if you're looking at on Facebook or on YouTube. But this is one aspect that has to be driven home. This could be very locally heavy. Here's 5.6, right? 4.8 estimated, Doppler estimate. Even toward Balta, it's about 4.5. And what's interesting is that this is not in the warned area. Maybe they should consider putting that in the warned area. That's all that's happened in the last few hours. If we go back 4 hours, you can see it populating here. There was just a trace a little while, and then you could see it just started populating, and now that's where we are right now. So that's the current time. So some of us have really picked up a lot of rain locally. Others have not had much at all. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Sometimes that's the way the raindrop falls. And today, that's what we're seeing. Some of this rain, as you go back to live sweep here, as live can be, it's now beginning to add more drops to the airport, which will pick up more and move us up the top 10 list. I think eventually we'll get there. To think that we would not have any more rain for the next 2 weeks would be unrealistic. And again, I'm just basing on if we average 4.13 in the entire month, that's easy math. That's about an inch a week. And if we maintain average, which I think this is an above average pattern, if we average just 1 inch a week, we'll be in the top 10 pretty easily with over 7 inches of precip, making it one of the top 10 wettest Mays on record. But as I just want to recap, 7:30 Ray, 7:30 Roane, 7:45 Morgan, 7:45 for Anderson County. Any questions, let me know. I'm going to sign off here. I just want you to be prepared that this rain, as I say hello, I hope you have a good evening. Be mindful when it rains, it can pour. And for some of you, that's what we've been seeing. A lot of rain over a short period of time. Just want to keep you safe, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you here soon. Take care.